Get ready to. Did you? I didn't get none of my referrals from last year.
We know here at Cowboy Stadium, Pittsburgh Steelers take on the Green Bay Packers, and so it is only appropriate that we have two former NFL players who have 3 Super Bowl rings between them. And so on Reverend Jackson's right is a Dallas product and a former player with the San Francisco 49ers, was part of the San Francisco 49ers team that won back-to-back Super Bowls in 88 and 89. Please welcome Mr. Chet Brooks.
Yeah.
And to Mr. Jackson's left is a person who played with the Dallas Cowboys in the early 1970s and had one of the most recorded accomplishments in pro football, where he returned kickoffs for touchdowns in 2 consecutive games. And ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Mr. Ike Thomas. Okay, we're going to just chat just a minute. I'm going to go back and forth. There's the mic for both.
Well, how's everybody? Well, the first thing, the athletes are gifted by God. You don't decide whether you run a 109 It's a gift. You don't decide to be 6'8", 250 pounds and run like a deer. Gifts are good. In biblical times, people like David and Samuel knew that they were called to do something other than just be athletes. They had to do something to use that skill beyond the ball plane. So that's the gospel group with the athletes trying to think of lifting our youth up and not tearing them down. That's a good thing. It's awful for those who have the gift of singing or athletics to use that stage to degrade themselves and to degrade the race. That's the first. Second, you don't have it for a minute and it's over. It's a long ambition, but it's a short journey. And at your best day, you're just a twist and ankle away from living on your best day. So you really get your head together because your brain will not last your knees. Say, man, that's not right. I really think that your mind will not last your knees. And so while you have what you go to the first class school, only school there as an entertainer to play ball, to get to an education, because you're not last to the government and to the company. And so the highest and best management of one's resources is a big piece of my message.
Right. Also, maybe to extend to that, many of the players, I mean, they aspire just to be just that, players. Now, is it possible to help change the mindset to where, and it's happening more and more now these days in professional sports, where the players, they might not no longer play for the team, but maybe if they do improve their mind and improve their management skills, they could help maybe run, manage, or maybe one day own the team down the road.
Well, that's what they must have, management skills when they market themselves. some guys have such bad reputation as players, they have no marketability when it's over. Means some guys use that platform to just clown, and they become such a public nuisance, and when it's over, it's over. Other players can have a lifetime career with that same team, doing something other than playing ball. Some guys mismarket themselves because they think that they're going to be on top forever, and it's just 2 more seasons and it's all over. Don't want to call their names, but you know some of the guys right now, right? Who are great athletes, but when it's over, it will be over because they do not market themselves in a way that makes them acceptable to the public. And that's a big piece of it, seems to me.
I'm going to get some comments.
I think on this religious thing, Brooks, I was thinking about how when I was growing up, I was a Dodger fan. I mean, everybody was a Brooklyn Dodger, Jackie Ross, Brooklyn Dodger. And we finally had the chance, to beat the Yankees, which was like the big deal. And all of a sudden, in 1955, Stanley Koufax would not pitch in the World Series on opening game. We couldn't fathom it. He was Jewish. He would not put the ball game above his religion. I mean, and it was not even a debate. I would not put ball playing above my God. That was a huge statement about his character, about who he was. He's the same guy, along with Senator John Drysdale, they talk about LeBron James pulling off it. He and John Drysdale say, we'll negotiate with you double. Right? Both of them are 20-game winners, and they said that you're underpaying us, so we will negotiate with you as 2. That's 50 years before LeBron James hooked up with Bosh and Wade. The 2 of them said that, you have to pay us what we're worth. So you learn a lot in the ball field.
And you personally have practiced that because I believe you played football at North Carolina A&T, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, we used to beat up on Pettis Norman. Tell Pettis I said. Well, Pettis played with Johnson C. Smith. He was a great athlete. He was almost ahead of his time, really. Pettis was a huge force as an athlete, but more than that, Pettis has been a solid businessman and a gentleman and a family man. He is a guy who took his skills on the ball field, made it his life's work. You know Pettis as a franchisee, you know him as a business guy, you know him as a church guy, you know him. He made the highest and best use of his skills.
I want to ask some questions to went on to play with the San Francisco 49ers, played along with Joe Montana, Jerry Rice, and was teammates because you were a defensive player, and was part of the San Francisco 49er teams that won back-to-back Super Bowls, Super Bowl 23 and 24, I believe. Okay. While we're mentioning that, would you care to flash your Super Bowl ring?
This is one of 2. I gave the first one to my father, actually, in hopes that I would have a chance to win another.
That's outstanding, and what you did, And talk about some of the things that we've been talking about, Mr. Brooks, of how you've been able to transform a productive life after football, but how did football and athletics help you prepare for that life?
Football has helped me a lot tremendously in working with other people and having a common goal and getting that goal accomplished through a group of people. And I think that's what football has done for me. And having a passion for the game has transcended into having a passion for life and wanting to succeed in life. When I finished playing, the one thing I didn't want to do was get caught up as Chet, the football player. I wanted to be successful outside of football. And so it was important for me to let football elevate the rest of my life. And then so I took that stance in doing that.
Great. And I think that's a lesson that we need to teach all young people and people aspiring to be athletes. I'm going to go to Mr. Thomas in a minute, but I need to get a final word from Mr. Jackson because Mr. Jackson's got to go in a little bit. And hold on, let me turn it over to Ms. Edna Pemberton first.
I want to thank everybody for coming, and first, Dr. Jesse Jackson, you know how we love you. You can tell how the mall was dead yesterday, and we found out he was coming, and all of a sudden you brought the mall back to life. Appreciate that. Put our hands together. Now, the other thing, we're supposed to be doing our blood drive, and the Claudia representing the Dallas Urban League, and we had people not to show up, and so therefore, Dr. Jesse Jackson, knowing the need that we have in our African American community about participation, we had the signs all up, but we didn't have that. So I want to apologize on that behalf for those. I'm going to bring you up Claudia so she can say some words to Dr. Jesse Jackson for coming on that behalf and everybody else. One more. Thank you very much.
Again, thank you, Ms. Edna. Thank you, Ms. Community. I wanted to say to Dr. Jackson that we were going to have a blood drive today, the Urban League and American Red Cross, but due to the inclement weather conditions, as you can see, we're not used to this kind of weather here in Texas, so we have rescheduled it. But I want to say this could not have been a better start to Black History Month by having your presence here in Southwest Cinema. We thank you. We admire you and we honor you so much for all the work that you have done, but the job ain't over because we know you still got some more work to do, and we are in the struggle with you. Thank you, Dr. Jackson, and we love you.
But you know, I want to say backwards if I can from on the football thing. You know, Mike Tomlin is the African American coach in the game tomorrow. But the breakthrough of Tony Dungy, that's a tree. Out of Tony Dungy comes Mike Tomlin. Out of Tony Dungy comes Glenn Smith. Out of Tony Dungy, the coach at Indianapolis.
Jim
Caldwell. Tony Dungy. And out of that tree, really, comes Rashid at Tampa. And out of it also comes Herm Edwards. So having a guy in the position become selfish, it doesn't help us very much. All those guys come from Tony Dungy's tree. And we shall forever owe a big debt to Tony Dungy. And all it proves is that, you know, we always could play quarterback. We always could coach. Nothing changed but opportunity. And therefore the fight, that's what we cannot set the struck and cannot set the grade. If we have the faith, God has the power to see us through every situation.
Right. So, just in conclusion, with this Super Bowl theme that we've got this weekend and things, particularly also we can look at economic dollars. This mall and the people here, they know that about $600 million was projected to come through North Texas, you know, from the Super Bowl, and they wanted to make sure that some of those dollars come through this community. And so what things can you tell them as to what to do to make sure that whether it's the Super Bowl, whether it's the Final Four, which is coming in 2014, or any major event that is coming, how to make sure that we benefit in all different ways from events like that?
Well, number one, the Steelers are going to win. Let's get that part out.
Get your call.
Get that abuse out the way. You know, I think that part of it is marketing. You know, as I think about this ball and wonderful idea, when these teams come, they are programmed to go certain places. And when they go, crowds go. If a big event comes to this area, there's no reason why one cannot make the appeal for some of the athletes to come here and do something.
All right, come on, y'all.
These are our children, and we send them away. We don't see them anymore than they come back home crippled. And then there's, you know, they are falling out of use for themselves. And so while they have high market value, they must eat what we eat. They must eat in our restaurants. They must go to our churches and see in our neighborhoods, because that gives us strength. Every time, you know, if a honeybee decided not to have a brain, and no Dr. Honeybees, the honeybee drops a nectar on the flower, it doesn't just fly away, it drops pollen. It feeds the flower and robs, then it flies away. And many of us, we get our nectar from the ghetto, but swallow pollen elsewhere. It kills the flower. Whoa. Then we get killed, we have nothing to come back to. And so we should be lifting as we climb. To me, that's one of the lasting lessons of this whole deal. Is while you got popularity, use it to enhance where you live. If you show your popularity where you don't live and where you ain't welcome, I was watching some athletes and we went by to see some of the stills a few minutes ago. Once those guys take those uniforms off, there's so much every guy. I mean, you're no longer number 19, number 23. You just guy. And so I think that becomes a challenge for us not to get carried away. The guys who are Super Bowl guys on this coming Sunday, they go back and miss a traffic ticket on Monday, they go on the court. I mean, you can't wear them numbers off the field. So learning to live with and stay close to our people, I think, is a big challenge. And this Dr. King stayed on the street just off of not Auburn Avenue, but just off, and he stayed in the neighborhood with people. Stay close. Now I would say that's a great lesson. Stay. We learn to see these guys and former NFL players here because stay close to the base. It does not mean that you don't venture out, but it does mean that you cannot fly. Any airplane has a base it leaves from, and it has to come back unless it has a crash.
We're gonna.
I gotta do something triggering. I have two of my grandsons here. And we're on our way right now to the NFL experience. I'm going. I got to go home.
Reverend Jackson, we want to thank you for coming. And if we can just get one more final photo up with Reverend Jackson, Chet Brooks, and Ike Thomas. Just a few more over here. Another pose over here, please.
This ball's going to be given to the one who brings what the business owners right here. All right.
Right. And I'm going to turn, I got a comment from Mr. Chet Brooks, but now I want to go more into with Mr. Thomas. Also a Dallas product.
Somebody give me an email.
Played college ball in Bishop.
Mix them. All right.
And so we went on and played at that time, and how the Cowboys were driving for the Super Bowl, and how you wanted to contribute.
Well, that year, '71, I was drafted by the Dallas Cowboys, second-round draft choice, and from there, I was a rookie. Didn't know what to expect. I'm sure Chet knows what I'm speaking of. You know, you're there, and you're looking around, and your locker is only 2 rows down from Roger Staubach, Bob Hayes, Jethro Pugh, you know, Rayfield Wright, and those are Hall of Famers. And I didn't know what to expect, but I do appreciate football, because football taught me a lot of things which you can apply to your everyday life. Dealing with adversity, you know, dealing with other people. And you make a lot of friends, and in some cases, enemies. But football teaches us that. And I went on from there. While I'm kind of hung up on the Super Bowl game, is that I played with Green Bay for 3 years. Dallas traded me to Green Bay. And I kind of like I have allegiance to the NFC. I'm sorry, Pittsburgh, but it's going to be rough out there.
And you went on to play a year with Buffalo Bills. You were a teammate with O.J. Simpson as well.
Right.
So you've been in those circles. I want to needle Mr. Thomas for a little bit. The first kickoff return for a touchdown, if you'll be able to look at the footage, he spiked the ball. And it looked like he might have spiked the ball before he went into the end zone. And so he almost became the first Leon Litt. Okay. but they let it go. It was a touchdown. And it was a key touchdown because you defeated the Los Angeles Rams 28-21 by just a touchdown. And then the next game against the Jets, y'all blew away the Jets. Yeah, blew them away. And then went on to Super Bowl VI. I just need to note too that the Super Bowl North Texas Super Bowl Committee, they had a project this fall of the 100 greatest moments in North Texas football at any level, high school, pros, college, and the #1 event in North Texas football were the Cowboys winning Super Bowl VI. So Mr. Thomas is just very much a part of history.
All right.